That's Barack Obama doing Problem on 2FM. That was only really a distraction to take away from the fact that Rob Sheehan is not picking up his phone. But we live in hope. He did text me only about 10 minutes ago and say he was ready to rock. So we're going to try this one more. If it doesn't work, we'll come back to it. But hopefully it will happen.
Acty.
He lives!
Hello, honey pie.
He arises from the dead and appears to many.
You seem very distant. There you are.
Here I am. Do you mean
how are you, love?
Distant in an aural sense or in a kind of a spiritual sense?
In a kind of a wasp dinner party sense, where you're at the other end of the table and we've just finished our soup.
What would the soup be?
Like chilled pea soup, the kind of soup that would give you chills up your back passage just to try and sit it down.
You've changed to chilled pea soup. Whatever happened to good old leeking potato? Real salt of the earth, healthy root vegetable soup.
Exactly, salt of the earth. Good old famine soup.
Here, will I do a formal introduction for you? Would you like that, or?
Well, I'd like the McDermott works. You know what I mean? I'd like the whole luxurious experience. I'd like to get what the ladies get.
Oh, well, in that case, this particular introduction that I had in mind won't work, but we'll go with it anyway and see where you bring it.
Make it flirtatious. Make it suggestive.
Joining me now here, live on the telephone, he is aloof. He is a man of mystery, an international sexy hobo. He is an Irishman who makes other Irishmen question the very validity of their heterosexuality. It's the one, the only, the magnificent, flirtatious Robert Sheehan.
Well, that was suitably suggested. Well done, Mr. McDermott. You know what? And I like to think of myself as a little hobo, because I do carry a stick with a little bag on the end. Both my boots have burst at the front to make them look like mouths. That's my look.
Tell us a few tales. You've been quiet. Where have you been? You've been all sorts of exotic places. You were in India.
I was in India, yes. I was in India about 6 months ago. Yeah.
You filmed a film. I think this is fantastic. You filmed a film that you, as far as I'm aware, you wrote it and you directed it and you raised the finance. Is that true?
It's a third true.
Damn it.
You said there. I co-produced it and I acted in it. So I did help raise some of the finance, and I helped creatively. So I helped to write some of the script. Yeah.
And what is the brief synopsis of the film, and when can we expect to see it?
The film is called Jet Trash, and it's about two guys who are essentially running from something, and they're in paradise in Western India. And they're kind of at odds with their paradise. They're using their time there to kind of exploit the good culture of India. So they're out there like dealing drugs and stuff. And then they get themselves into trouble by hitting a cow on the road and killing the cow. And then they get embroiled in all sorts of people in India. And then the trouble that they were running from back in the UK comes looking for them out in India. You know, it was made on a shoestring, but I've seen an early cut of it now, and it looks extraordinary for the money that we had. And I think probably this time next year, realistically, is when it will hopefully be seen by everyone in the cinemas.
And when you were over in India, this is because India seems to be a bit of a Marmite subject at the moment, because my mom and sister, for example, went over, and as two female travellers, they said they had the worst experience and they would never ever go back. But then so many people just rave about it like it's the greatest place on earth. What was your experience? That's
funny, because I wore a negligee for most of the time that I was there, you know, and I found Indian people to be very respectful of me. That's a crying shame that the poor McDermott had a bad experience. I had a fantastic experience, I must say. I mean, we were in Goa, which is like very relaxed, very chilled. It's very acclimated to Western tourists. Where did your sister and your mum go?
Oh God! Well, they were peppered all over, but I just think because they were two women, they just felt not threatened, but just constantly jostled, I suppose. So that was a shame. We had the very lovely Lawrence Kinlan on the show there the other day.
Did you? Lara Kinlan, is he still sprogging out children?
He is. That's what happened. With the same woman, though, which is important, I think, the family nucleus to remain intact. But there was a period of time there where you could not walk the streets in old Irlande. Perhaps it's calmed down, but I don't think you've been here in a while.
Yeah, I think it has calmed down, a bit. I was back from my dear sister's engagement party about 4 or 5 weeks ago, just down in Portlaoise. It was quite chilled, you know. I mean, people are kind of still asking for photographs and stuff, but I mean, I think the intense edge had kind of been taken off it, you know.
Did you find that unpleasant for a time? Because that was a serious level of exposure you had.
Yeah, it did. I felt slightly overexposed, all right. Yeah, you kind of had to adapt yourself slightly, you know, where you couldn't wander up like Camden Street on a Friday or Saturday night. It was all unanimously pleasant feedback from people, you know. It was never nasty or unpleasant.
I remember, Rob, I said to you one time, because I thought there was a marginal resemblance between you and young Mr. Stark. And I said, Rob, would you ever screen test for Game of Thrones? And you said you weren't particularly fussed.
Yeah, I'm not particularly fond of it, to be honest with you. In all honesty.
Is it just the genre or the show?
The show is kind of sprawling and slow. Would be two ways I would describe it. And you know, anything that requires consistent effort on my part and then calls itself entertainment is not something that I'm willing to commit to. You know, I much prefer to be gripped than have to put the hours in.
That probably goes for love life also.
Yeah, that's one of my life mottos. You know, I love fantasy genre, you know, but I just find the payoffs to be not enough for the time spent getting there.
That definitely is applicable to love life.
Exactly.
Two very quick things. Myself and yourself have both been installed at the same odds, 20-1.
Is this to take over the Late Late Show?
No. It's to be the next boyfriend of the newly crowned Rose of Tralee.
I am going to beat you to that, Eoghan McDermott. By hook or by crook.
We're outside her window in the tree, rattling.
Well, I'm going to show up to her house first and go through her bin. And then garner some vital information about her and then use that to manipulate her into a relationship. So how's that?
I have to say, I think you'd be a tough love adversary. I wouldn't like to go toe to toe with you, but we both beat Rory McIlroy. He's at 25-1. We both beat Niall Horan. He's at 33-1. Yeah, we're doing well. Hey, we're doing quick fire round right now, Rob. So let's do these quick. First question: you were in India. If you had to settle down with a woman who spoke only Oscuelga or only Indian, what would it be?
I didn't have to be Irish.
Do you have a cúpla focal?
I have a cúpla focal. More than a cúpla focal in Indian.
Okay, done deal. Who was the last person you saw in the nude?
It was a girl called Sophia.
Oh dear. I hope you called her back, did you?
I did. I call her back every day. She's my lovely other half.
Oh, well, fantastic. Very good. What's your second favourite Backstreet Boys song?
Oh, baby, when the lights go out.
That's 5.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm getting my 90s boy bands all mixed up. I've got nothing.
Okay. As long as you love me, who you are, I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that was my first favourite, so, you know. Yeah.
You could kick one person right in the testicles. Who would it be?
I don't know why it jumped into my head, but Jeremy Kyle.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's a terrible human being.
An easy target.
Yeah. What was the last time you ate a sausage?
It was last year in northern Italy in a place called Bolzano. It was the April before last.
Oh, well, it's a long time.
Yeah, I'm not a huge pork person, but I was in northern Italy and there's a lot of really good German restaurants and they do cracking bratwurst. So I decided to get involved. They also did beer soup, which was quite nice.
Beer soup?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Would you rather have tea with Barack Obama or learn how to shear a llama?
Oh, God! I'd have to go for the llama thing. That kind of skill could stand you in good stead if all your other prospects fall through, you know what I mean?
Or if you were stranded on a mountain in South America.
Exactly, and you needed to fashion a coat or something. And you know, llamas are quite volatile, so there's probably a skill to shearing them.
Yeah, absolutely. Although there's so many things you could say to El Barack.
Unless he already knows how to shear a llama, and then it's like, you know, 2 birds with 1 stone.
Ah, yeah, that could be the one. Rob, what's the worst thing you've ever said to someone?
Oh, Owen, Jesus Christ. Let me think. Quick fire. Terrible.
It is.
I told Joe Sangre once, when he first grew his stylish mustache, that it looked like both his eyebrows had self-subdivided and fallen down his face.
So callous and cruel. Was the last time you weed somewhere other than a lavatory?
Oh, just the other day I weed in a car park, just outside Macclesfield. in the north of England.
Oh, very good.
And it was literally pissing in the wind, Owen. So I got a little bit on my shoes.
Oh, splashback is the worst. Which fellow thespian always gets too drunk at showbiz do's?
You know what? I've been out with that cad Alfie Allen a few times.
Oh, Alfie Allen from Game of Thrones. Oh, yeah. Penultimate question. When was the last time you gagged and why?
Christ. I saw someone puke in a bar not that long ago, and that them gagging and then actually vomiting caused me to gag.
It's like yawning. It's contagious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the gag reflex can be contagious. Warning to all you listeners.
And finally, Robert Sheehan, word association. What word comes to mind when I say stop?
Go!
Hey!
Hey!
You're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you so much for taking the time to natter to me and indulge my inane ramblings. Mr. Robert Sheehan, thank you so much.
Pleasure. All the best.